Excellent. Good morning, team. Welcome to the Standard Podcast, where we raise the bar, rebuild the culture, and call it the lies or misconceptions that nobody else will. This isn't motivation. This is a movement. I'm Thomas Rowe, joined by my host, Aaron Charles, and today I'm super stoked. We're sitting down with Alex Molden, former NFL cornerback who overcame a devastating injury to become a first-round draft pick, played 8 seasons in the league, and now serves as a motivational speaker, helping others overcome their own challenges. Alex's story is one of resilience, perseverance, and the power of refusing to let setbacks define you. He played college football for the University of Oregon, Go Ducks, where he was part of the team that reached the 95 Rose Bowl. But his path wasn't without obstacles. During the Independence Bowl, Alex suffered a devastating knee injury, tearing his ACL and his MCL, and an injury that could have ended most careers. What happened next defines Alex's character. Instead of giving up, he committed to 9 months of grueling rehabilitation. He came back to start 9 games in 93 and was selected as an All Pac-10 cornerback in 1994 and became an All Pac-10 Football Coaches Association All-American in 95. That resilience paid off when Alex was drafted by the Saints with the 11th overall pick of the first round in 1996. Boy, we've come a long way with the draft, haven't we?
Man.
He went on to play 8 seasons in the NFL for the Saints, San Diego Chargers, Detroit Lions, accumulating 298 tackles, 12 interceptions, and 8 sacks. Today, Alex is based in Portland as a motivational speaker, and he is the father of 8 children, including Elijah Molden, who played college football at Washington and was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in 21. I believe he's playing for the Chargers now. We're diving into the truth behind what it really takes to build identity, discipline, and legacy in sports and in life. Let's get into it. Alex, thanks so much for joining us. I'm super excited.
Thomas, thank you for that long intro. But it's so cool, man. Yeah. Aaron, it's always good to see you.
You as well. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alex, you're a former first-round NFL draft pick who played 8 seasons in the league. Before the success, you faced a devastating knee injury at Oregon that tore ligaments and could have ended your career. What does raising the standard mean to you after living through that kind of adversity?
I think for me, it was all about I needed to turn into somebody to be able to overcome this and to use this in the way that I wanted to. I didn't want this to be like the end all for me. And right. I was very fearful of that because, you hear about knee injuries and you hear about guys, especially back then, guys never coming back.
Right.
And so I was very fearful of being a statistic, and not on the good side of it, but on the bad side of it. So I'll never forget, man, the doctor, after he performed the surgery, and I'm scared to death. I'm worried. I've never had surgery before. And I asked him, I said, will I be able to bounce back? Will I be the same? And he looked at me and he kind of laughed. And he said, Alex, I did everything I did. You have a brand new you have 2 brand new ligaments.
Wow.
Now it's all up to you. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear, because when you're talking about raising the standard or setting the standard, it was when I heard that, I knew I had the foundation,
right?
Meaning I knew what hard work was. My dad was a drill sergeant. It's something that was, I wasn't the smartest when it comes to football IQ. I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't the fastest, but man, I knew what hard work meant.
Right.
And so once I heard that, I was like, okay, that's all I needed to know. And then I was very disciplined. I worked my butt off, but I was very disciplined, and I didn't do anything extra that my PT or my strength and conditioning coach at Oregon, I didn't do anything extra outside what the program meant. And a lot of time it was very boring. You know what I'm saying? It's like Danielson, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. And so I just really dove into the process.
Yeah. Love it. And what do you think is the biggest lie that you feel the culture of the sports industry has told athletes about setbacks and injuries and what it really takes to come back stronger from life's biggest challenges.
I think the biggest lie is that is going to be easy.
Right.
You know, like it was so incredibly difficult. And not just from a physical standpoint, but also like a mental. I think that's the biggest thing, is like the mental aspect that you have to be willing to go through. You know, there was so many times, especially early on, where I wanted to go out. I was feeling a little bit better. I was feeling more like myself, and I wanted to go out and run. I want to do what the other guys were doing. But that would have been the worst thing for me.
Right.
That would have set me back. And so I just had to just stay in the pocket, you know, just building blocks. And then the whole time you can be able to use that as gain. Like for me, when I was going through that whole process, and I started off feeling sorry for myself, and that lasted for like a week or two. But then I said, okay, how can I use this setback, this injury? What type of fruit can it produce for me?
Right.
And I said, okay, I'm not the smartest in terms of football IQ because I started late. I started in 8th grade. And so what can I do to up level my football IQ? Because I can't go out there and I can't play right now. So I started watching film, and I stopped watching film like a high school player or even a college player. I started watching it like a professional.
Right.
Meaning I started breaking down things. I started taking notes, writing things down. I started paying more attention to alignments instead of just watching film. And, oh, that's a tough receiver. Why is he tough? When is he tough?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it just really, I just used that as a tool to help me get better in something that I knew I wasn't, that wasn't my strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talk about your father being in the military, and it's so interesting. My dad was in the military as well. I think we may have talked about that. 26 years as a career Marine. And we were talking, he was asking me one time, you know what discipline feels like? And I didn't understand the question, and he responded with boring. Discipline is boring. It's the details, little by little. You can't deviate. And that sounds exactly like what you did.
Yeah.
You suffered that devastating knee injury in the Independence Bowl when we're told you needed 9 months to a year for rehabilitation. What was going on in your mind at that moment? And what made you decide to fight through it instead of giving up? I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but I'm more interested in like the initial injury. Like no one knows your body better than you. You knew something was wrong.
Yeah. No, I knew something was wrong. And when it happened, it was like, there's no other way I could fight it because I'm smart enough to know like when I can't, you know, when something's wrong.
Right.
So when it happened, I was just, okay, I got to get this surgery. I got to get it done. And it was just, okay, I was process oriented. And so, okay, let's get it done as quick as possible. There's going to be different issues that's going to come up because of, you know, what they did to my knee in terms of taking a third of the patella tendon. I was going to have tendonitis, and there's different ways how you can mitigate that. I got to get stronger, especially single leg strength, you know, with deadlifts and, you know, your hamstring strength and your quad strength, all this type of stuff. And so I was like, I was patient. I didn't really put a timetable on it, and neither did they, thank goodness. It was just like, hey, when you're ready, you're ready.
Okay. Love it. On that one, we're going to turn it over to Aaron for segment 2, which is identity and legacy. Aaron, take it away.
Awesome. Alex, I love this section. I love what I get to ask you about. Those were great questions from Thomas, but I want to get to know who Alex is beyond all the accolades that Thomas poured out on you, all that you've accomplished. Just who is Alex Molden? You have 8 kids. Like, we just want to know who you are.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm a believer. I'm a Christian man who started my walk with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, probably my second year in the NFL. and I wasn't raised in the church. I mean, the only time we really went to church is anytime I went back home to Detroit with my grandmothers. That was the only time we would go to church. And so, yeah, I got saved and just started walking with the Lord. So I like to start off with that, like with my faith first. And then I'm a husband. I'm a husband of almost 28 years, and we have 8 beautiful children. But before all that, I was a football player, and that really kind of, it started like this identity type of piece, because I fell into the trap, because it is a trap when you do something, no matter if it's football, baseball, being a stay-at-home mother, working as a lawyer, whatever. If you do something for a long time and you have success and it starts to bring you fruit,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not careful, it can become who you are instead of just what you do.
Yeah.
And so I came across that when I retired, and I didn't want to retire. I wanted to keep playing, but it was a conversation I had that really shone a light on that, of me being, instead of being Alex, I was a football player. And
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like that. I was Alex who happened to play football. So
I love that. I think a lot of athletes, I think you hit on something very important, struggled with that. And you might have to tell the story I think you told Thomas and I that really stuck with me when we first met you about that lesson that you learned there. So do you mind sharing that?
yeah, no, not a problem. And before, I just like to preface it is like, there's a thin line when you're trying to do something and you're trying to do it at a high level consistently. Like, there's part of you in that's the sacrifice, right? Of you pouring into this thing for so long, and you have so much is detail oriented. There's a lot of time that's spent. You have to do that if you want to make it to different levels. But you still need to understand, like, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you hate, what do you love. You know what I'm saying? Like, and having people next to you that you trust and that can tell you the truth. You need to have people in your life that can tell you the truth. And you need to be willing to, hey, am I coming off like this? How am I going? So they can be able to tell, yeah, man, that the way you did that interview or the way you treated that waitress, that ain't right. That ain't cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I just wanted to, kind of tell people that it's a balance of pouring into whatever that is that you're going to do, and then still knowing who you are. But yeah, so I went on a job interview, right? I just retired, and we was chilling. I was in San Diego, love San Diego, sunny blue skies. And I thought that when you retire, I mean, I did. I played lots of golf. I worked out when I wanted to. And I was just taking kids to school, coming back and just hanging out, right? That gets boring, right? I did
Yeah.
that for 7, 8 months. And I said, okay, I got to do something. And lo and behold, our neighbor was a CEO of a nonprofit. So she asked me if I would like to be a development consultant. I was like, yeah, I would love that. What is that? So she told me, and it was cool. And so I did that for about 6 months, and then we moved up to Portland. So got up here, and I said, okay, I have a little bit of experience now in the nonprofit world. I did a lot of work when I was playing ball. But let me just go on monster.com, right? That was the old school Indeed, I guess. And so I looked up nonprofit, entry level, and so I ended up getting this interview. And I got this interview, and I did my homework. I did my research. I know how to do research. That's what I did. That's one of the things that helped me last 8 years, is I know how to dig deep and find things that can help me, right? So I did that. And I went on this interview, and I was thinking that, man, this is an easy win. I got this. It was an entry-level position. Plus, if you hire a vetted NFL veteran, the NFL will donate $5,000 per year to that nonprofit organization.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. And so I'm like, oh, I got this. This interview is just a formality, right? And I went in there, and she started asking me questions about the organization. And so I did all my homework. So I was killing it. I knew who they served. I know when they started. I knew all that type of stuff. But then she started asking me questions about me. Alex, what do you enjoy? What do you hate? What type of, what are the things that wake you up in the morning? She started asking me all these different questions that was like pointed towards me, and I couldn't answer. And finally, she said, why do you want this job? And I said, I need to get out the house. So I got tired of saying I don't know. Let me think about that. And so I told the truth. That's what, and she put her hand on my hand. She said, honey, sweetie, you ain't going to get this job. She said, and let me give you a bit of advice. Before you go on any more job interviews, you need to find out exactly who you are. Because right now, I'm asking you questions about you and you can't answer them, or everything sounds like football. She said, sweetie, football is what you did. Right. It's not who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Got up, walked me to the front door, shook my hand, wished me good luck. And I went to my car and I cried. I bawled. I wept. That's what I did. I wept.
Wow.
And that was one of the most painful, embarrassing moments in my life. Somebody who just met me told me I didn't know who I was.
Wow.
God, that's such a powerful story. And I love that story because I also see her as an angel, because she really then, I think, probably created the fuel that you see today that's well beyond the field to be the motivational speaker that speaks to organizations. And I think probably helps a lot of people encapsulate what she gave to you.
So what did I just say, right? You need people in your life that can tell you the truth.
Right.
I thought I need people who are close to me, who've known me since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, right? No, some of those people, they have nothing to do. They don't want anything from you.
Yep.
And sometimes you don't even get to choose to allow them to tell you the truth. So that taught me something very deep. And because of that conversation, that one conversation changed the trajectory of my life.
Right.
I don't think I would be here, on you guys' dope podcast if it wasn't for her.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you need somebody to sometimes just come in with no, they don't want anything out of it, just to kind of look and just listen and watch you and be like, hey, you need to know this about yourself.
Yeah.
And that changed everything. It made me really start looking in the mirror and like, okay, Alex, not just what you want to do, man, who are you? Right. Because from you gaining more introspect of who you are and what drives you, what you're passionate about, now there's opportunity for fruit. And for me, it was like, okay, I don't think I really want to do this nonprofit work. Now that I'm starting to look into the mirror and look what drives me, I want to be that person that helped me when I was 12, 13 years old. I want to be that because that person helped shape me and develop me. I want to do that for other athletes.
I love that. And the other thing I really want to shout out to you in that whole thing that I think a lot of people oftentimes miss is your willingness to be open and receive that. Because sometimes people will also gift you that feedback, but if you're closed off and not willing to do the look in the mirror and the introspection, you don't have the profound change that was just gifted to you. You're going to probably struggle and it'll keep coming up, but it's like that says a lot about you and who you are, because that's where the transformation really took place.
Yeah. You know what? I think emotional intelligence is one of the things that when I'm talking to different organizations and helping develop their leaders, when I'm consulting, that's one of the key things. And that was a moment for me because of course, like I went to the car and I was crying. I got angry.
Mm-hmm.
But why would I get angry at this lady who I just met who really told me the truth? She
Right.
wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. She wasn't having something against me, you know, even if she was a Oregon State Beaver, you know what I'm saying? but you know, so I had to regulate, but okay, I'm not going to get angry. If anything, I'm going to get angry at me.
Right.
And so instead of just living in that emotion, because emotions is just data. It's not like an action plan.
Right.
So it was data. And I was like, okay, I never want to feel like this again. What if I just listen to her words?
Mm-hmm.
You need to find out who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like?
That's so good. I love that. So how do you carry that in, or what's one truth, I think both into your motivational speaking and the work that you do now, like what's the one truth you wish young athletes, parents, because you're also the parent of a athlete that's playing at the highest level in the NFL. Like what's one truth that you wish coaches, parents, athletes understood about building resilience, taking in that feedback, growing? What do you want them to understand?
I think the character that it takes to do those things. We look at like the end result, right? We look at the platform. We look at all the things that come along with doing something at a high level, right? If I do this, man, I can get a scholarship. It can be academic or it can be athletic. If I get that, then the end goal is to, you know, play professionally, get paid to do this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks great. You got to have those different deals and you have to be realistic. All right. And sometimes you have to be just like, I'm going to put this up there. All right. Now understand I need to act like somebody who is there.
Mm-hmm.
How do I act like that? And a lot of us, like for me, I didn't have any friends or their dads who played in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like what does that mean? Like how do you adapt that? But one of the things that really helped me out is when I was in high school, I went to a football camp and it was CU Boulder. And I
Yeah.
went to their
My
football
alma
camp.
mater.
Hey, let's go. I love CU. I was so close to being a Buffalo. But you know, so I went there, right? And so there was a lot of other kids there, but we got a chance to watch their practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went there, I wasn't like all the other kids, all the other cats. They was trying to position themselves to see who was the alpha.
Yeah.
Among the high school kids. And, you know, a lot of kids, I'm from Colorado Springs, so they was from Denver and, you know, a lot of the coaches knew them and stuff. I can care less. I was looking at the intensity of how they practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's how it's like, man. So that's not just what it looks like, but what does it feel like? What does it sound like when they practice, the communication, the grunts, when they hit somebody? I was like, oh, that's what it say less. So I took that was information that, man, okay, I'm going to start to act like this. I looked at their DBs. Damn, they look strong. I got a chance to talk to the strength coach. Hey, how strong are they? Like, how much do they squat? How much do they bench? What does that look like? And he told me, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I gotta spend a little bit more time in the weight room then. So it was just start to practice that character.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to become somebody different than where I was because I wanted to go and I wanted to play college football. If I didn't, I was going to go to the Army, just like my dad. Nothing bad about it or anything like that. That was just in my mind. That's why, like, I don't want to go into the Army.
Right.
I don't know a whole bunch about this football thing, but I saw something and it was like something touched my heart. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so me going and see at another level, that was like information. I was like, okay, I need to start acting different. And so that's when the character, right? I need to start, man, being consistent. I need to start training more. And then I want to hang around people who want the same things as I.
Right.
And there wasn't a whole bunch of people. They said it. Oh, yeah, man, I'll work out with you 6 o'clock in the morning. They said it. But when push comes to shove, they wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I understood it was going to be lonely.
Yeah.
It was going to be lonely. And so, going through that, it was lonely. It was very lonely. And I still get emotional about it. But I share that to my sons. I share that also to my daughters when they're going off and they're doing something that, that's like, man, that's elevated. Just understand it's going to be lonely. Are you okay with it?
Mm.
No doubt.
Okay. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Thomas. Wow. That lands.
Yep. That's deep. Alex, we're going to get into segment 3, advice across all stages. So you just shared the story with us about going to Boulder, going to that camp. But one of the questions we get a lot is about recruiting. So if you knew then what you know now, you're a senior, you're getting recruited, and you picked Oregon. But when you narrowed it down to 3 teams, take us through that process on those 3 teams and how you picked Oregon.
Okay. I could share that with you, but I got to tell you what I would do different.
Right. Absolutely.
So I had a trip. So I went to Colorado and they had just won the national championship.
Wow.
I went to Tennessee. They recruited me, which they typically don't come out, to the mountains in Colorado. But one of their coaches was from the Denver area. And so my name kept coming up. And so when he recruited me, I was like, oh, Tennessee. So I went there and I went to Colorado State. And I was going to go to USC, but I canceled that trip. I was done. But my top 3 was Tennessee, Colorado, and Oregon.
Okay.
And so for me, I was like, okay, first of all, how they treat you.
Right.
How they treat you. Do they come out and they visit you? Does the head coach come out and visit you? You know what I'm saying? So I was smart enough to understand these things, like, I mean, how they treat you, who comes out and visits you. Because when you go out there, yeah, they're going to treat you the best, right? But who comes in into your living room and they talk to you and your parents? So Oregon, the Coach Zoom, who recruited me, he came out many times. He would call all the time, and he was always, hey man, Alex, how's your mother? How's your brother? How you doing? Always.
Right.
And it's crazy. Still to this day, he'll see me. And, how's your mom? How's your brother? How you doing? How's the family? Right. So, and then Coach Brooks, he came out and he visited me, and that meant a lot. Right. Tennessee, they never came out. Right. Colorado, their head coach came down, Coach McCartney, he came down. Right. But I'm in their backyard.
Right.
And I was one of the top recruits in the state at the time. So that really started to eliminate Tennessee. But I did take a trip out there. And I took a trip out there and I knew, I was like, if the head coach, if he would have, first of all, if he would have came and saw me at my house, and when I met him, when I sat down one-on-one with him on Sunday, right? Because you would fly out Friday, and then you would be with the team. They, wine you and dine you on Saturday, and then Sunday morning you get little more toury type stuff. And then you would sit down with the head coach. When I sat down with the head coach, he started off saying, Alex, we're thinking about offering you a scholarship. And then he kept talking, but I couldn't hear anything. It sounded like Charlie Brown, womp, 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 his teacher, womp, 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 womp. I was like, you're thinking about offering me a scholarship? I was ranked 4th safety in the country. I'm a All-American. I'm a 5-star. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, You're thinking about offering. You didn't do your homework. So he didn't do his homework on me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, boom, they're out the picture. And then when I went to Oregon, man, it was raining, it was wet, but the culture that they had, they wasn't like a powerhouse. It was, I think that year they went to the Freedom Bowl. I think they went 6-5 or something like that. But the culture that I saw and how the teams, how they treated each other with respect. When I was at Tennessee, with two of the guys on the team were going to fight. I was going to witness a fight. At Oregon, it was like, man, there was just a lot of love, and there was like cultural. It was like, that's what I wanted. And I wanted to get out of the state of Colorado. And they played in the Pac-10, which is more of a pro-style offense instead of Colorado, who was in the Big 8. So that, and then the academics, I didn't really, that wasn't a big deal for me, to be honest. But Oregon was somewhere who I saw the culture, the change of scenery, the conference, the coaches. That was it for me.
Love it. So clearly you made the right choice, and you went on to have a decorated career, and you overcame an injury that you talked about, overcoming the adversity, the road back. Now you're about to get recruited. So you check the boxes of high school football, you check the boxes of college. Now you get back. Tell us your mindset when you're about to get drafted. You're sitting there, whether it's with your family, your teammates, your coach, and it's draft day. Take us through that.
Oh, man. Well, I tell you one thing. It's about understanding you don't have a choice.
Got it.
You had a choice when you're going from high school to college.
Right.
When you're getting drafted, you don't have a choice. So you have to understand like the landscape. And then the second thing is, man, being prepared, right? Because you can run a fast 40. You can kill it at the combine. You can show everybody how athletic you are. And that carries weight. But nothing carries as much weight as when a coach presses play. And not about highlights. He's going to press play. And he's going to watch everything. Their job is to figure out who you are.
Right.
They're looking for character.
That's it.
They're looking for character. And the biggest part is the character that you show on the field, right? Hey, when you play against these type of receivers, you lower your, how you perform. But I see when you play up a tier, you play guys who are studs, man, you step it up. I see your energy, So they watch, man, every little part of it, how you tackle, how you celebrate. Right. With your teammates. They watch everything. They are professionals. So, and the cool thing is like when you don't think about all these things, you just go out there and you play.
Right.
And that's what I did. I played and I loved it. So for whether you're going from high school, you're trying to get into college, or college trying to make it into the pros, you have to understand they are watching everything.
Everything.
And the biggest question that they ask is, do they love this game?
Right.
Do they love it? Because there's going to be times when you ain't going to love it. I didn't like training camp. After my 5th year, I hated training camp. I just want to get to the season. So it's about like, do you love it?
Right.
Right. So, and that's just like, man, because you can't fake that.
Right.
You really can't fake love.
No doubt.
Yeah. So I would say just understanding the landscape and then and what you're going into, knowing that you don't get to choose. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're an undrafted free agent and you have all these teams calling you, and then you get to choose. But you're on the bubble when it's like that.
No doubt.
Yeah,
You're not trying to get in at that point. Yeah, you get a choice. So, Alex, back in the day, we didn't have the transfer portal and we didn't have NIL. We knew about the $100 handshakes and so forth. But how do you feel that the NIL and the transfer portal has changed the landscape of college football?
Good and bad.
Yeah.
Right. It's good that you are being treated fairly and you're getting rewarded for the work that you will be doing. Right. Because I'm speaking from experience from now. We have a junior son who just committed to University of Oregon. And, so next year he'll be a Duck. And, we hired an agent because I'm not going to do it. I know I'm not, what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't understand that world.
Yeah.
So we get somebody who does understand that world. And then their job is to find out what's fair. And so it's great. Like, you're getting paid for your name, image, and likeness. But what it does in terms of transfer is now they're making the decisions. If you come from different circumstances, it starts to turn the decision, not just what's the best fit, what's the best culture, what's the best system. It comes down who pays the most.
That's it.
And it could be a good thing. It could be a terrible thing. It could be a good thing if, man, this is you get money right now. And I always tell people, I tell my kids, not all money is good money.
That's it.
So you're making decisions based off this one thing, and it's money, instead of like relationships, instead of like alumni base.
There you go.
I still have doors open for me.
That's right.
In Oregon, in alumni, like doors that, I get paid a lot of money because of the things that I did on and off the field and what I'm doing now.
That's right.
But if I would have transferred, I would have bounced around from school to school to school, I don't think that would be there. So, not all money is good money. And then they start to see like you can get paid more at a place that has a terrible fit, a terrible system for you. And so you're making decisions off of, it's like you're building your house with sticks instead of bricks.
Right.
So, and with the money, with the NIL, if you're not prepared, I wasn't prepared for as much money as I got when I was a first round draft pick and I was 22.
Right.
Now this happens at 18.
That's right.
And so, if you're not careful, you get this money and then you you do this, you lose focus.
That's it.
And it's not, that's just that, man, that's part of it, man. Treat that, man. This is something that it's my nest egg. It can be my nest egg. Let me put this over here. I ain't gonna worry about that. I'm just going to go off of, my, like what I need. I'm going to live at this level, even though I got this one, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to live at this level.
That's right. That's easier said than done. That's for sure. One of the things that Aaron and I have dealt with his whole NIL transfer portal is we've talked to the NCAA athletic directors and coaches, and it was very profound. He said to me, he's like, T, the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.7 is character. And I was like, wow. And he said, if you're running a 4.4, you bench 300, squat 600, but if you're a distraction, I don't want you on my team. I do not want you on my team. We're building a culture here. So you're right about habits. People are watching, they're definitely watching. And on that one, we're going to turn it over to Aaron, which is segment 4, the rapid fire round. Aaron, it's all yours.
Okay, this is my favorite little section too. I like all my sections. I like what Thomas does too. But I'm going to start the sentence, and you're just going to finish my sentence for me. Okay.
Okay.
So discipline equals.
Discipline equals production.
Ooh. Leadership equals.
Influence.
Faith equals.
Foundation.
Legacy equals.
Ooh. Legacy equals let's say legacy equals principles.
Ooh. What is one thing that you would never compromise on?
I would never compromise on my identity.
I love that. I love that. And if you could put a billboard up for the next generation of athletes, what would your message to those athletes be?
Oh, that would be, I don't know, man, you give me one. Okay. One would be understand that who you are trumps what you do.
That's gold.
No doubt.
Kids take that to the bank. It's so true. And I think it gets so lost. So I think it's one thing that people need to hold on to. So with that, I'm going to turn
good. I like that.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Alex,
before we close it out, we'd like to spend this last couple minutes to just kind of open up the floor to you, kind of like an open call. And before we wrap up, is there something we didn't touch on today that you feel athletes, parents, or anyone facing major challenges need to hear about overcoming adversity and building lasting resilience?
Well, I think parents need to, and athletes need to understand that your setbacks, your failures, is one of the things that can help you get to the highest level of what you of who you are and even what you want to do. A lot of us, we run away from those,
and
we shy away from it. Like if you have weaknesses, those are the things that can, when you can focus on it, man, it can help you get to another level, right? And you need to own them though, because when you own them, whatever setbacks, the failures, when you understand like the flaws in your character, you control the narrative. When you bury them, when you try to hide them, you try to cover them up, one day somebody's going to do some research on you, and they're going to find it. And then guess what? You don't own the narrative. They own the narrative. So like really understanding like those setbacks and whatnot, just own it. When you make mistakes, own up to it. Own up to it. And then, who do you need to become to change it and to flip it and make that a strength? And this is whether it's, on a football field or in sport or in life, is like understanding, owning those falls, learning from them, and then moving forward instead of staying stuck. A lot of people stay stuck.
No doubt.
And, and I want to give you guys as flowers. Your podcast, The Standard, it is hard work. This is hard work, and who you're serving, like I think they really need this. They need people like you all to be able to have other folks who've kind of been through that, whatever that journey is, and then you can pull insights from it. So keep doing what you guys are doing. And, I'm a fan. I've just known you guys for a couple of months, but I love what you guys are doing, and it's needed.
That's awesome. Alex, that means the world coming from you. And we definitely, this relationship has definitely grown into a friendship. It's something that we cherish. So you went from the rapid fire, now you're in the hot seat, art imitating life. I always love to ask this question of former athletes. What are your top 3 sports movies of all time?
Oh, okay. No, well, number 1 is Rocky 3.
Okay.
That's the thing that got me.
Mr. T.
Mr. Clubber Lang. That was the thing that serious. Now we get I'm always looking for inspiration. When I was back then, I really didn't know what that was or what to call it. But even like today, I look to be inspired. I know I'm inspiring. I know and I look to inspire people every day. But that movie inspired me to start lifting weights. I want to look like Clubber Lang. I was like, man, that dude is jacked. Man, what is he doing? And I started doing workouts that he was doing on the pull-ups, you know? So, but I have to go with that. That's number one. Number two would probably be remembering the Titans.
Okay.
All right. And then probably, oh man, there's so many good ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably number three would be Hoosiers.
Bingo.
So I'm probably telling people my age, but that's
That's awesome because my top one is Miracle. I never played hockey, but I just love how all these athletes, these misfits came together to win a gold. Number two for me is the first Rocky. Big shout out to Carl Weathers. He's a San Diego State Aztec, so we got to love him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the original Rocky was awesome. And then for me, also, Alex, number three is Hoosiers. I mean, just epic. And then everything else underneath that is an honorable mention for me because you're right. There's so many great movies. Alex, where can people get a hold of you, whether it's your website, whether it's an email, whether it's your social media? Shout it out to our audience so they know where to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So I keep it easy. Alex Molden everywhere. You know, I do that everywhere when it comes to social media. My website is alexmolden.com. Once again, I try to keep it simple. I also have a book that could be, it's relatable. It's called The Ultimate Playbook for Athletes. It's a book on personal development and leadership, where I break down the 10 influencers of why people follow you or they run away from you.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's still leadership. It helps people understand what the essence of leadership is. People think it's just like, hey, you follow me or I follow you. No, if I step in a room and everybody runs, I'm still leading. It just not be in the way that I want. Right. So have that. I have a brand new website out and it's called The Next Arena. And this is for former elite level athletes. And if they're feeling stuck after the game. And so I have different programs available for those folks. So yeah, that's all I got.
I love it. That is awesome. Team, thank you so much for joining us. Alex, thank you for showing us what it takes to turn a devastating setback into a first-round success. And team, if this conversation hit you, we need you to do two things. One, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. An athlete dealing with an injury or a setback, a young person facing their own challenges, a parent helping their child navigate adversity. And two, it's a must. Connect with Alex. We're going to definitely have all his handles in the show notes, but we want you to reach out to Alex. For someone who understands what it takes to overcome major adversity and overcome a hell of a setback, Alex brings the real experience of a devastating injury, grueling recovery, and ultimate success. And if you're ready to get clear on what it takes to get beyond the game, check Aaron and I out at blueprintbluechip.com. We work with athletes and families and coaches to help get them to the next level. This is the Standard Podcast, and this movement only grows when we raise the standard together. Talent fades, but truth endures. Let's raise the bar, rebuild the culture, and become the standard. Alex, Aaron, thanks so much for joining us. Team, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.